Supergirl makes me nervous.
Not really, but a little bit. The trailer came out today, obviously, or I guess a couple of days ago. When did this video come? The trailer came out. The movie looks good. I'm happy with what I see. I read Woman of Tomorrow in preparation. I can't say it looks one-to-one per se. You know, the color is not as color, but it looks good nonetheless. I'm not mad at what I see. There's a couple of things I don't love, but that's not what we're here to talk about. When I say I'm nervous about Supergirl, it is not coming from a place of hate. Well, obviously not hate. I don't want this movie to fail, you know. Ultimately, I want this to be amazing. I want people to love this movie. I want this movie to excite people and want them to get further into the DC mythos, etc. Right? The problem and why I'm nervous is I don't think this movie is gonna be the movie to get people the most excited about DC as a whole. And I think it has more to do with timing than the movie itself, if that makes sense. What do I mean? Okay, so let's look at the DCU as a whole. James Gunn, Peter Safran. Is that his name? I think that's his name. Co-heading DC. So far, we've gotten Superman, Peacemaker, and we're now getting Supergirl. So one might argue, and many have, that there's a sense of James Gunn fatigue. You know, everything feels like a James Gunn project. Now, for me personally, I like James Gunn. I'm a fan of his style, but I can say it is the teensiest bit, not jarring, but 3 projects all have a similar style. That's fine. That's gonna happen at the end of the day. We are under one umbrella. But when there are promises being made like, oh, every project will feel different, we will be able to showcase different aspects of the DC with different projects, it is not hard to assume that people would be a little bit upset when all of your projects start to look the same. Not to say they will, you know, we're gonna get Lanterns, we're gonna get Clayface. Obviously there's stuff on the horizon, but the first 3 projects being what they are is a little bit tiring, I guess. Yeah, tiring is a good word. But I feel like that's more relevant for like casual audiences. I feel like fans of DC are gonna watch the DC movie regardless. From my point of view, I'm just nervous because I don't want people, like in general, to check out before we get to some what other people will call really cool stuff. For me, I'm excited to see what's in this movie. Not gonna spoil it, but yeah, there's cool shit to see in this movie nonetheless. And for me, like I said, it's a timing thing. I think it would have been better if we maybe started with, I think starting with Superman is fine, and then into Peacemaker, that's fine. But I don't think the best idea after is another super family story, considering we still have not gotten introduced to like Batman or Batman. So like, yeah, you know, that's fine. That is all fine. I do feel like this is a little bit, not negative, like I don't feel like I've been negative in this video, but I don't like to be cynical, you know? I would like to be optimistic. So now that you know why I'm nervous about Supergirl, let's talk about why I'm excited about Supergirl, because like I said, there is stuff to be excited about in this movie. Immediately, Millie, I'm not sure her last name, she looks very good as Supergirl. Casting is good. Ruthie's casting is also really good. Lobo obviously looks really good. I will say I don't love Krem's design compared to his comic look, which is really just like a normal dude. So I do understand why they'd be like, okay, let's make him look cool. I get that. I just don't love the design, but that's just me. You know, I'm sure people like that. That's completely fine. Crypto obviously looks good. I'm glad to see, okay, Crypto looks good. I'm glad to see Crypto in different environments. That is pretty cool. Very, very cool. The vibe of the movie looks pretty good. It's not too quippy, not too grim either. I think we'll be able to find a good balance for what we're trying to achieve. It does feel a little Guardians of the Galaxy, which goes back to my other point. I'm kind of indifferent on that. I can see why people wouldn't like it. I can see why people would like it. I ultimately just want to see differentiation in the DCU. I don't care if movies emulate other movies. Honestly, I don't. I just want to see differentiation as a whole. That's all. Only thing I want, please. The action looks good. Action looks great, actually. I like what I'm seeing there. Effects, like in general, all the compositing looks good. That's actually like my biggest problem with Superman. That movie has some terrible compositing sometimes, but like that's fine. But like, I don't know, but it's fine. I didn't see any of that here. So that's good. Glad to see that, actually. Very glad to see that. let's do this actually really quickly, talk about what I want to see in Supergirl. I've already, like I said, I've read Woman of Tomorrow. I assume you have read Woman of Tomorrow maybe, so I guess we'll be getting into minor spoilers, like minor, but nothing too crazy. If you do not want to hear anything about the movie, I suggest that you skip ahead. Now, I'm gonna give you 5, 4, 3, 2, okay. I would like to see, first and foremost, Crypto. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying, I hope they do Crypto so bad. They want to see Crypto get done the worst way. Okay, now I'm kind of in a middle ground here, because like on the other side of that, like for example, my girlfriend does not want anything bad to happen to Crypto. Ultimately, for the story to work, Crypto does need to get shot by that arrow. I think I'm pretty sure he gets shot by an arrow. Regardless, I want to see Krim do what he got to do to Crypto. I don't want it to be too crazy, but I don't want it to be too subdued. It has to find a good middle ground towards like, damn, fuck Krim, and I want Crypto to be good. But at no point should we think that Crypto is like dying. I feel like that's kind of unnecessary. Just put him in his little doggy hospital bed, whatever the case is. Okay, that's fine. Or honestly, no. You could like let us think that Crypto is gonna die. Like that's fine. I don't really care. Either way, it works for me. Secondly, I really like the end of Woman of Tomorrow, like how that's handled. I'm not even gonna speak on it specifically because like I said, minor spoilers. But I would like the end to be pretty one-to-one with the comic, with like the old lady thing. All I'm gonna say, I'll be vague about that. But yeah, that's like honestly perfect. So let's just do that. I assume this movie will help set up Brainiac to some extent. We're doing Krypton, and Brainiac's casting stuff is being talked about. So yeah, Brainiac is in Man of Tomorrow. We're treating that like a trilogy, with Supergirl being the second in the Super Family trilogy. So I don't expect to see Brainiac in this movie. I don't even expect Brainiac to be said or alluded to per se. But what I would like is some type of technology or just visual synergy with whatever Brainiac will end up being later. So like if that's as simple as a robot or a ship that doesn't have anything to do with the word Brainiac or whatever, but you can see a resemblance in the technology we see later, that would be great. And let me be very clear, I know Brainiac has nothing to do with the Woman of Tomorrow story, but Brainiac and Supergirl do have some crossover, like Superman Brainiac, I think it's Superman Brainiac. I just say that because I know someone's gonna be like,
well, actually, Brainiac has nothing to do with woman.
Shut the fuck up. Anyways, if you think James is not setting up to Brainiac and gonna merge some stories together, I got some bad news for you. But I digress. I don't really want to see, well, I assume Superman would make like a cameo in this movie. I kind of don't care about a Superman cameo. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest, like I don't need to see that. I don't need to see any DC cameo per se. I just want this movie, like, I feel like it's kind of an impossible task for this movie because you need to get a lot of people to care about your franchise as a whole with a character that is gonna face some unnecessary scrutiny from a certain crowd of people or just like random shit, right? I think there's a lot against this movie and it doesn't help with all the other things that I said, just the movie base value, what it is. I don't know if it is necessarily going to blow people away, but I want it to. Okay, those are all minor spoiler-esque things, I think. Yeah, let's wrap this up. Overall, I think the movie looks good. I think the movie looks solid. A little bit nervous about the artistic direction, so to speak, but ultimately, I think it will make for a good movie. I am just scared on how much mass appeal it'll have, or at the very least how much it'll make people care about tuning into the DCU as a whole. So only time will tell. All power to the Supergirl team. Hope the movie does well. Hope everything is well. I hope the movie's good. That's all I want, a good movie. Love to watch a good movie. With that being said, that is all for today. Let me know what you thought of the Supergirl trailer. Let me know what you're excited to see in the Supergirl movie. And yeah, I think that's all. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. This has been Double Creature. Thanks for watching.